What's up, baby?
Turkey killing mofos. Hey, you a professional now.
You got her? Heck yeah, man. That's awesome, dude. Hell yeah.
Storytelling in regards to hunting and fishing has gone back hundreds of thousands of years.
Yeah.
Literally on the rock walls of our nation.
Push it. Yes, sir.
What are you doing, Brandon?
Go. By the way, your nipples are already wet.
I just shot probably one of the most epic scenes, probably ever. These two monster bugs got after it, and it was so cool.
That's about like what you want it to look like. Cover it.
Oh, he's so handsome.
That's a big deer, Megs.
He's big. He's a big boy. That's talking whitetail.
That's what I'm talking about, baby.
Holy crap.
Look at those hooves.
Everybody wants to be a turkey hunter until it's time to do turkey hunters.
What's up, guys, and welcome to episode 51 of the Tejas Hunt Club Podcast. I'm your host, Brandon McDowell, and this week we're going to be sitting down with Riley Hornback. He is a former Major League Baseball player and a big-time South Texas hunter. He's killed some pretty big bucks. Him, his father, and his brother have killed some pretty big bucks down in South Texas, and he has spent his whole life kind of chasing those whitetails, as we all do down here. So we get to hear a couple cool stories from him, some of his experiences that he's had chasing big deer in the brush country. So it was a lot of fun to have him on the podcast. We were on the Ranching and Wildlife Committee together in Houston for the Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo. That's where we first met. And he's also a fellow Sam Houston State Bearcat. Eat 'em up, cats. So it was a pleasure to have him on the podcast. And I'm excited for y'all to hear his stories and also his perspective on, hunting on leases in Texas. I know we talked about with Philip and Jessica a couple weeks ago about, going on adventures and traveling and going to different places. Talked to him about coming on the podcast. He really wanted to tell his side of that on how much fun and time and memories that he's created with his family having a lease. And, like we said in that podcast with Philip and Jessica, it's like you do with what you can with what you have. So his love for being able to take other people hunting and hunt with his brother and his dad really drives his passion for, chasing whitetails down in South Texas. So like I said, excited for y'all to hear that podcast, and we're going to have it coming up here shortly. But first, we have some very, very exciting news. The 6 Arc is finally together. If you go check out Tejas Hunt Club's Instagram or my personal Instagram, put a little video of the final build. Well, semi-final build. All of the components of the AR are together, but we're still waiting on that optic mount. And, we're still thinking on some optics of what we're going to run. I don't know, 2 to 10, 3 to 15, 3 to 18, something to shoot long range, because that's the goal of this build, and also something to hunt with: whitetails, hogs, coyotes. So it's going to be real interesting finishing up this build. It's been a lot of fun putting it together. Big shout out to Real Avid, of course, for hooking me up with all the tools to put it together. And also want to give a big shout out to Watermark Arms for doing my Cerakote job on my barrel. If you're looking to get any new gun parts or gunsmithing parts, you should definitely check out Real Avid. They have a lot of great tools, not just for ARs, pistols, bolt guns as well, mounting those optics that you have on all of those. So make sure you give Real Avid a look. And then also, if you're in the Liberty Hill area, go check out Watermark Arms. A lot of exciting things are coming up as I record this intro. Baby McDowell should be here in a matter of days. So that's going to be big. We're trying to get some more podcasts recorded in that meantime. But I'm going to be on daddy duty for a little while. I'm excited. So bear with us. We're going to have some more content coming, but we're going to take a little break for a little while. Might get some recorded next weekend, but we'll see. I know we're going to do a full podcast on the 6 ARC build. Still got to do a build with Megan's 5.56 gun, so we'll have a podcast with that. Turkey season is on the horizon. We spoke about in the last podcast busting out those calls and still practicing. So I hope some of y'all have already been doing that, but if you haven't, you still got time to get out those squeaks and squawks. So make sure you're practicing your turkey calls. We'll hopefully have some turkey content coming. Jared Erickson, fellow Tejas Hunt Club member, founder, is planning a trip to Africa this summer. So we're going to get him on the podcast to kind of get a preview of that, what he's going to be chasing after, what he's going to be shooting as well. So guys, we got a lot of stuff going on over here at Tejas Hunt Club. And I just want to say I appreciate all of the listeners that have been here every week. And if you're just starting, I appreciate that too. Make sure you share it with a friend that enjoys hunting content as well. Check out the YouTube channel if you're listening to the podcast. And if you're listening on YouTube, make sure you go check out some of our other videos that we have, not just the podcast. We've dropped some rodeo stuff lately because we've been on a little hunting lull, but go check out those videos too. They're pretty good, if I do say so myself. But we're going to get into this podcast with Riley. I really think y'all are going to enjoy it. And next time I talk to y'all guys, I'm going to be a dad. So that's pretty cool. Catch y'all next week. Peace. What's up, guys, and welcome to another episode of the Tejas Hunt Club Podcast. I'm your host, Brandon McDowell, and tonight I am joined by Riley Hornback. We've known each other for a while. We were on the Ranching and Wildlife Committee together for the Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo. He's an avid hunter, ex-baseball star, and a fellow Sam Houston State Bearcat. So Riley sent me over an article that he wrote the other day because he thought I'd be interested in it, and I definitely was, because I always like hearing cool stories, hunting stories in general, but definitely hunting stories about chasing big whitetails in South Texas. So after reading the article, I was like, hey man, you want to come on the podcast and tell your story? I'd love for other people to hear it and kind of hear some of your background and what you love about hunting South Texas, because it's a privilege. It's a dream for a lot of people in state and out of state to be in South Texas and chase whitetails. I mean, even if you like hunting whitetails in the Midwest, they have big deer. Nobody's denying that. But it's something different about being in brush country, being in the thorns and the thick, sitting in a tree stand, shivering to death in those cold winters is tough. But when you got to bust brush to find deer, it makes it a little bit tougher. So Riley, thanks for coming on the podcast tonight, man. Give us a little backstory on you, how you got started hunting, and a little baseball thrown in there too, because I'm a fan of that. And let everybody know a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, man. I mean, to start, I can't tell you how many times I've had the same, maybe not argument, but conversation as far as exactly what you're talking about when it comes to Midwest versus brush country, right? I mean, there's definitely a majestic feeling, big, dark, gray deer in South Texas, 7 or 8 years old with dark chocolate horns that's 22 inches wide. On a foggy morning, there is just something special about that. And no disrespect, I mean, I hope to hunt the Midwest one day too, but it's definitely what gets me so excited. But notice, I mean, pretty much everything in my life as far as hunting and baseball has been extremely inspired by my dad. My dad was an exceptional baseball player. He graduated from Angleton High School. He played at Bland. When I was 12, he could still throw 90, So obviously, that on the baseball side, I mean, he pushed me, he worked me extremely hard, and I owe it all to him. He's the reason I am the way I am today. But as far as the hunting stuff, he grew up. His dad my grandpa was a duck hunter, and busting through ice and leaky waders as a 10-year-old, 12-year-old wasn't exactly his idea of having fun. So got his first job mowing yards, saved his money, bought his first deer rifle himself, the whole 9 yards. And then, basically we started, he had hunted, uh, several years, obviously, before I came, but we hunted Wadsworth, which is outside of Bay City, Texas, where my grandpa ran cattle. And, one of those places where if you see 2 deer, you're having a good hunt type thing. And he taught me that, you don't shoot, obviously, first deer, a little different. Doe comes out, you whack her, right? But, he instilled in me, which is very difficult to think about a guy who hadn't hunted like extremely nice places or seen a lot of deer, but instilled in me as far as to do the right thing, not kill a 2-year-old, things like that. So basically everything from then, and then probably about 12, because he had a few leases before when I was younger, and I kind of got to do my hunting at the, where my grandpa ran the cattle, and maybe he hunted between Menard and El Dorado at one point. He went on day hunts. That was back in the day of show up, pay your $300 and bring your tripod and your bow and see what happens. And so obviously being 8, 9, 10 years old, I wasn't part of that. But probably when I was like 13 or 14, we got on a deer lease in Junction. You can see the black buck. Actually, I killed him when I was 14 with my dad. And then, but we had always, South Texas was our dream, right?
Yeah.
Right before the deer lease in Junction, we hunted 300 acres in Hebbardville. So 7 hours after he gets off work on a Friday as a 9-year-old, but I never missed a weekend. I can promise you that. I mean, the love for it just has been instilled in me since the day. I mean, just insane. I have pictures of me as a baby with my mom's dad, my papa, holding me, freezing cold weather, and he done drove home with a deer in the trunk of the
Back
car
of the
somehow,
truck, yeah.
Yeah. So it's been there forever, but I'm just extremely grew up, like I said in the story, I didn't even know anything about score at 12 years old, right? 18 inches wide was like, that was like the standard, right? That was like, you kill one that's 18 inches wide. And then as I started, and then as I started learning about, score and going further into it, then it was like 140-inch deer was like, oh man, you've done it. And now, it's just because I've been extremely blessed, but also my brother, my dad, and I have worked extremely hard to be able to, monetarily be able to hunt some of the places that we've hunted on, right? So like, and this is, whatever. That's 141-inch deer that's European mounted right there. If you'd have asked me when I was 15 years old if I thought I would European mounted deer, I scored 141, I can promise you that wouldn't have been the case. I'm like, if I ever kill one that's 141, you have no idea, right? And now I let my girlfriend shoot. Actually, I'm engaged as of 2 weeks ago. My fiance
congrats, man! Yeah.
Well, thank you, buddies. Now I let my fiance shoot 135-inch 8-pointers. And I never would have imagined that it would have ever been there. But so as we're transitioning through all that, my dad's bouncing around to affordable leases and that are, we end up in 16 miles outside of Freer on a place. Well, it's shot out. You know how it is. If it's affordable down there, sometimes
it might not be your best option.
Yeah, absolutely. At this point, I'm playing high school football, high school baseball, and so on and so forth. So there's times we're leaving, 11 o'clock at night after a football game to drive to South Texas. Well, a very good friend of ours, he's actually age-wise in between my dad and I, and his dad, obviously older than my dad, but Corey Pierce, hunted on a place right outside of Freer. And I remember going, and it's just like, what is going on here? It's 145,000 acres. It's Killam Ranch. Everyone knows it, the Duval County. It's as big as there is as far as,
Yeah.
right there in that area. Seeing a 145-inch deer walk at 10 yards, and stuff like that. I thought in my head, I'm like, oh man, this is so easy, and extremely exciting for someone like me, like I had never even seen deer like that. And then, we were fortunate enough, we started hunting out over Furio and Woodsboro on the Weldon McCann.
Yeah.
And we were fortunate to be part as a guest on the Kill 'em that we learned, the ideology of properly aging deer. And now obviously we're obsessed with it, but, so let deer walk. So at this point, I'm probably 24-ish. I'm 35 now, so I'm probably 24 at this point. So my dad's two biggest deer at this point are 133 and 138. And I've never popped the 130-inch mark, and my brother's got a 121. So that's kind of where we stand at this point. And then on the Weldon McCann, I had several deer that I walked that were really good deer, and they actually chained the property. So I took two bulldozers, big chains, and flattened the property for the cattle, and they killed all my deer across the fence. Right?
Yeah.
So from there, we actually got on the Kill 'em ourselves. My dad got a spot the first year. But shot culls, not the right deer showed, so on and so forth. Actually, let me back up. I'm sorry, that's not correct. First year, I did kill a deer. I killed a 155-inch deer that year, and actually out of my buddy Justin's stand. But my dad, this was like before. I mean, I didn't even have an iPhone, right? Like,
Yeah.
So my dad was in his stand. I was in my buddy Justin's. My dad was the only one that had a spot. I was still playing minor league ball at this time, so I'm back and forth, whatever, right? And anyways, I see the deer the night before on a doe. My dad comes and picks me up. My dad never leaves his gun in the stand. For whatever reason, this night he leaves his gun in the stand. I'm like, no, we got to go back by your stand. You got to get your gun because you got to come over here and shoot this deer in the morning. Like he's 7 years old. He's in the 150s. Like you're rocking a 138-inch 8-pointer as your best deer at this point.
Yeah. You need to come.
50,
You need to come sit over here.
So just like in my dad's fashion, we wake up that morning to go hunt, and he's like, "I ain't going over there." I'm like, "What?" He's like, "Yeah, I want to kill a deer. I built my stand. I filled my feeders. I want to kill it out of I'm like, "Yeah, how can you even think that? What are you doing?"
Yeah, like you put in the work over there. It's just coming to fruition over here.
Yeah, and he's our buddy. We help him too.
Yeah.
Like it's not just it's not like you showed up and paid your money and they dropped you off at 345 and you killed it at 350. We're all working together here. Well, anyways, you can't talk him into anything, right? So I'm like, what do you want me to do? And he's like, go sit over there. I'm like, okay, and then what? Because I know the deer's coming out. He's on a doe. It's January 7th. He was on a doe the night before. I know he's going to be there, right? He's like, he comes out, shoot him. I'm like, all right, this ain't adding up to me. Like, you, what? And he's like, yeah, if he comes out, shoot him. Well, he got me back, to say the least. So, anyways, I shoot the deer. He comes over, whatever, celebrate, the whole 9 yards. And, well, fast forward, I have my own spot on there now as well. And actually where my stand was at that time was where he was hunting at the time. He had moved his to a new area. I think we had like 2 spots, right? Basically.
Yeah.
700 acres a piece or something, right? But where my primary stand was where he had hunted in the past. Well, he got me back because a deer he had whenever he first got on and was sitting there was still alive. He's 7-ish year old deer. He 195-inch deer, so I let him shoot him out of my stand. He didn't have a problem shooting a 195 out of my stand, but and I was, and you go from a guy who's just, mind blown, with, just loves deer hunting, loves guns, probably more bolt action rifles specifically, more than anybody. And to see him, he shoots the deer, and he's so in shock when we get down there that the deer field dressed 234 pounds too.
Golly.
So yeah, so the deer probably weighed every bit of 275 or 280,
Yeah,
if not
oof.
more. Yeah. So we get down there, and there's this 23-inch wide typical 11 pointer with a drop time split G2s and 3 brow tines and 27-inch beams, and he's like, God, look how big his body is. And I'm like, Dad, you just killed a I don't know if he's 200. I don't know what he is, but he's a lot.
He's damn close.
Yeah, and you're looking at his body, And but anyways, obviously, I couldn't have been happier. And I think you probably read that in the story where I got to share the stand with him when he shot that deer. I got it all on video. Obviously, mine's not near the quality of yours, but
no, they're there.
Yeah, I got it all on video, and then. So we hunted there for a few more years. And next year, my brother killed a 173 out of that stand with my dad. They were together, and then we transitioned to another ranch. And so that's kind of where the story kind of starts. Is the first year on there, my dad he killed a nice deer, 155-inch 8-pointer with split G2s. I mean, really beautiful deer. But kind of the next year is really when we kind of got into it. Not that we weren't into it, obviously, but, new place and things like that.
Yeah.
As you're figuring it all out, 13,000 acres is hard to navigate,
Exactly.
Especially when we hadn't been there that often. And so it was a change for us too, because it's not like where you have your own area anymore. When you show up, it's, there's only 10 of us basically, or 13, whatever it is. Basically, you have 1,000 acres to hunt. But there's areas that are named, right? But it's not like go getting a box blind with 3 feeders at it like I'm used to,
Yeah.
So learning the curve the first year, second year, I started getting my feet under me, and obviously have a great understanding of the ranch by this point. And the deer jester that I mentioned in the story had been one that had been hunted for the previous 2 years, and nobody had been successful on him. And I killed him on my 45th hunt, I believe. So it was a lot of time I put in. Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean that's 45 days in a stand hunting him. But like you talked about, that all the time that you had to spend to learn where these deer are, I want to say there's an art to it, and it just takes there's no way you can read a deer biology book, and you can read it from front cover to back cover, but I feel like until you spend time out there with them, there's no real way that you can know how they're going to act. The book gives you an idea. It gives you the things to look for, but you have to then go see how it applies. Cause South Texas is different than East Texas. That's different than West Texas, North Texas too. It's and that's in one state. If you go from different states and different whitetail areas and everything, they're going to act a little different. But how much time did you spend just, sitting in a stand just looking? Because I'm sure you go to spots that okay, it looks like this is going to be a good area, and you might spend a day just checking it out, off season, looking for sheds, looking for rubs, doing all that kind of stuff. And it's like you said, it's kind of hard to do in that brush. So how many days did you really spend? How did you get to the point where you felt you knew the area you were hunting?
So I don't feel like I ever knew, to be completely honest with you, right? I mean, I knew what the deer's history was, as far as, to be completely honest with you, I'm sure it's probably the same in your household, but sitting on the couch at night is game camera time, right?
Yeah, yeah.
I got 9 of them running, that I'm watching like a hawk. And when I wake up in the morning, it's the first thing I'm doing. That is probably where I spent more time. But the problem was, this deer as a 6-year-old would lay down in the middle of the sendero with people sitting in a Jeep watching. as a 9-year-old, he daylighted one time,
Yeah.
and it was after Thanksgiving. You know, like we go from this deer that's a pet as a 6-year-old to almost impossible to hunt, right? I knew that more than likely he was going to get a little more regular with the rut at least, but he was still going to travel, right? So I still had to be in the right spot. Now he wasn't going to travel 5 miles like he did to where he rutted, which is super unique of a deer too, right? So if you look at the way our place is set up, 13,000 acres, he's on the far east side of the pasture to start, where he lives his whole life, right? I had pictures of him September 28th in the daylight before hunting season started. So I started obviously hunting him with we're MLD, but I still started hunting him with my bow because that's what I enjoy to do, right?
Yeah.
Well, 45 hunts later, smoke poles coming out, right? Like, sorry,
Yeah.
buddy.
The benefits of living in Texas and being MLD, you know? It's like you can choose which one you want to go out with.
Yeah. So what got me was I was seeing every deer that he ran with in the early season. And then, kind of like I said, I mean, literally, I was watching the Astros playoff game. It was like 8:30 at night. And I hadn't had a picture of him since September 28th. So I'm thinking it's like 30 days, if I remember correctly, kind of in between. And, dude, he just pops up out of nowhere on my camera. And I ain't seen him. Like, I don't have a clue. And come to find out, I'm sure he was living on the neighbor's pasture.
Yeah.
And how lucky I got that they didn't kill him, you know, because who wouldn't have, right?
Exactly.
24-inch wide 9-pointer that scored 170, you know, like not a whole lot of people
would pass that up. Yeah.
Yeah. Which, I mean, he's a 12-pointer, but I mean, his whole frame is 9 points, you know, like it's what he's all about. But super old deer too, obviously. But so he pops up and I'm like, oh, I got him. He's mine. And then, nothing. And then I don't get him again for 3 more weeks on camera. And then as soon as I got him on camera, then I drove straight back down like I did when I actually killed him. And I'm like, I got him tomorrow. I got him. He's mine. I mean, same type deal. Like, I'm fortunate enough to have some very good partners in my business that I'm able to, they know, you know, they'll pick up some slack
when it's time to go. Yeah, it's time to go.
And so jumped in the truck, ran down there. Oh, nothing. I'm like, oh, man, this is just like starting to get super frustrating. So
yeah,
I knew that he did rut in one area, but it was 5 miles from where I'd been hunting him. Like legitimately on X, draw a line, 5 miles. And dude, it was like I said, it was the weekend of Thanksgiving that year, I believe, and we were gonna stay till Monday, and we actually ended up staying until Tuesday because Sunday I couldn't put the feed out because it was so muddy.
Yeah.
And so I was like, can we stay till Tuesday, to my fiance? And she was like, we've been there since Wednesday at this point, right?
Yeah.
And, well, she loves to hunt, don't get me wrong, but I understand her position as well, right?
Exactly.
And,
some of us love it a little more than others, and that's okay. That is okay.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, no, I don't ever want to leave. You know, I'm sad on the days when we leave, right?
Yeah.
But
same here.
It was crazy that he just boom immediately. Like the cottonseed pile had been out the day before that I had in the middle of the road, and had a camera on it, and it was the farthest spot. I never got him on the route I thought he was going to take. I got him where I thought he was going, and he popped up right there 6:30 at night or 7 at night, whatever it was, and we had just got home. Like literally, not even maybe. I mean, I unload the guns and stuff, obviously, because dinner. But there was probably still clothes in the truck, right? Like, go get something to eat, and boom, he pops up, and my fiance's talking to somebody, and I'm like, oh, in my head, I'm like, you ain't gonna like this, but I'm gone in the morning, you know. And so, she was reluctant. I mean, not reluctantly, because she knows exactly how passionate I am about it. But yeah, dude, drove down there, and then got in, so we have a old F-150 hunting truck, and got in it, of course. Couldn't get the rack off the back because the lock was covered in mud and seized up. So then I had to take my 250 out there and hook up to so I had a trailer blind is what I did. I moved a 5x7 on the trailer.
Yep.
Moved that in 180 yards from where the pile was. And so I had to take it out there and put it out. And I had to drive all the way back to the front. So I'm also 5 miles deep in the ranch from where everything's parked as I'm doing this. So you can imagine how long this is taking.
Yeah, this is taking. Yeah, the whole time you're hoping that he's not standing there watching you do it.
Oh, man, and I'm just making noise and everything else and pissed off. And, so I get in the truck. I get back after dropping the standoff, get in the hunting truck, jump the hunting truck. And, of course, I'm, going 40, right? I'm hauling, trying to get back there. And 2 washouts, and dude, I stuck the feeder in the mud on the front of the truck. Got to where I was going to put corn out, and nothing came out. I had to get out of the truck and pull a block, probably 10-pound mud out of the front of my road feeder. Oh, dude. And I'm like, ain't no way this is happening. I get back in the stand, and I ain't even hardly paying attention. I'm just. If it's going to happen, it's going to be tomorrow or the next day or the next day, right, at this point. And I'm, it's Wednesday, so I'm there at least till Sunday to hunt him at this point, right? I'm locked in. And not hopeful at all. And then, deer start filtering out, that really, really good 5-year-old deer. But he's just, we talk about, you were asking about, when did I feel like I kind of got a grasp on things? And what I've learned is, like, deer are just so different as far as their personalities, right?
Mm-hmm.
This deer, Benny, I mean, he's a 5-year-old at this time, and, you could kill him with a pickup truck, right? And it doesn't matter if you're hunting 2 million acres or 2 acres. If they're a cornhead and they're a puppy,
yeah, they're going to go eat.
Oh, yeah. Now, these other ones, I've seen them where they don't ever even show up in a feed pen. They don't eat cottonseed. They don't eat corn. You might catch them cruising a road. We've had deer that never have had a picture of them in the daylight, and it's just unreal to see how different they are as people. But, I mean, you figure there's a reason you got people like Elon Musk with 180 IQ and people like me, right, who ain't there. I'll probably be the cornhead showing up early. Hey, I heard that guy with a truck and a feeder. I'm going to come by there and give me it.
I wouldn't be hard to kill either. So
yeah, exactly. But so I'm just kind of like hanging out, watching, but not really paying attention. I mean, I'm hunting one direction. I know where he's going if he's going, right? And I got a jacket across the window in the back, basically blocking out my silhouette. I got the gun out the window already. That's something I've learned. I've changed kind of my hunting style as I've hunted this place. I feel like I've definitely gotten better at shooting, as far as anchoring and getting much better. I use shooting sticks underneath the butt of the gun.
Yeah.
Bag in the window, elbow on the shelf. I mean, if I miss it, the gun's off, and not that I'm a good shot, but I take me out of the equation, right?
Yep.
And I've been, as I bring new people there and stuff, encouraging them to try it that way and seeing how they react to it and how much better of a shot they are. I know you shoot a lot, so you understand completely.
Yeah. That whole just handing somebody a gun and being like, "Here you go," you can't
it out the window.
It's not a good thing to do. You kind of want to get them used to it, and at least make sure it kind of fits them a little bit, or try to do everything to make them comfortable just when they're making those shots. Because, like you said, you want to take as much as yourself out of the equation, and you just want to just press the trigger,
squeeze the trigger,
and then let it go, and that's it.
Yeah, I mean, I took my fiance killed her first deer this year. We go gun out the window, pick a rock. Are the crosshairs moving? Because I know the gun's going to do it, right?
Yeah,
like I'm not.
You're going to have that floating there.
Yeah, I got a 1940, 30-06 with a 3-power scope on it, and same, my buddy, one of my best friends my whole life, Jake, his son Jay shot his first deer with me this year, and same deal. We put it out the window, and we practice before a deer shows up,
Yeah.
I mean, I need to know that you can hold it on that rock. I know you hit that target before we came down here. Can you hold it in this stand on that rock, right?
Yep.
Because and also like you said, I have chased them through the brush a long ways in my hunting career, and I do not like it.
No.
Yeah.
It's not fun.
But
we like them to fall where they're standing.
yeah, but so anyways, I look up, there's the 5-year-old Benny and, 4 or 5 does and 3 or 4 young bucks or whatever it is. And I'm just texting my dad and my brother, just BSing, super leisure, not paying attention to anything. I mean, I'm prepared, right?
Yeah.
Ish, I guess. And look up and Benny ain't there. And I'm like, man, this just don't add up, right? And turn around and kind of move my jacket out the window, and he's standing behind me at like 40 yards. And I'm like, it's just strange that he circled me like that.
Yeah.
He almost had to walk right by me to do it. I mean, he was in the brush, but then when I turned around, there he was standing there, and it was not long before the gun went off. And of course, the benefit of shooting suppressed, I mean, it's made me a much better shot, but also, hearing the bullet hit the deer is a game changer.
Oh, yeah.
So I know when I make a shot, but when one runs off and doesn't look real hurt, I gotta shoot the right one.
Yeah.
I hope there ain't a fawn laying dead on the ground down there or something, right?
Yeah.
Even though I'm extremely confident in what I do, I've done so much. But you always question yourself, right?
Dude, and you know what? I'll tell you this. So we were speaking of that. We were hunting on this ranch, and I was filming, and of course, they had some bred does that they bought, and they turned out in like big pasture, and they're like, look, we just got these does, the ones with the purple tags, don't shoot. Cool. Any other no tag does, go ahead and take them because they're old enough. We're gonna do what we're gonna do. We're shooting pigs too. So this no does or no bucks come out that we can shoot. This pig walks out, and this pig is in front of this doe with a purple tag. And I mean, looking at the shot, you'd be like, "There's no way that doe is in the way. Like even if he shoots him on the other side of him, nothing's gonna happen." So the hunter gets down on the rifle, shoots this hog. So he told him shoot him in the head, so he falls right there. He shoots him in the head. I can't remember what caliber he was shooting out of that rifle, but somehow, some way, that bullet bounced around in that hog's head and came out the other side and hit that doe with a purple tag. Like, I can't explain it. They're just dead right there. And we looked and we're like, because the hog fell, then the doe fell. So we're like, wait a minute. Like, you didn't miss. We knew what animal we were on. So I totally get about like stuff happening and you have no explanation for it. And I did get it on camera because we were filming, and that is the only way we explained it to like the ranch manager, to be like, hey man, this is going to be
in line. Yeah.
You're not going to believe this if we just told you, but we have proof on the camera. But yeah, so I get you on that.
Oh man, you shoot them sometimes, and how's a bullet end up in the neck when you shot him in the shoulder?
Mm-hmm.
Turns inside, you never know what it's going to do. And it could have been that bullet went through that hog or hit that hog and turned left and hit a rock, and the shrapnel from the rock hit the doe. And, I mean, there's a million different things. That's why I don't want to stand down there next to him with somebody shooting at him. I can tell you that for sure.
That's for sure. So speaking of caliber, what caliber do you shoot in your rifle?
So I try to bow hunt exclusively.
Okay.
Obviously, when it's times like this, or shooting culls and does, and things like that, but I've been shooting for the last 5 years a suppressed weapon systems 300 Win Mag, so it's integrally suppressed.
Heck yeah.
Yeah, this year I shot a burger bullet. At that time I was shooting the ELDX, but I got it because the guy I shout out to your people at Silencer Shop. I use all their stuff on my 7 mag and stuff.
Heck
so I shot a Remington Sendero 7 mag that had the trigger job and all that.
Yeah, yeah.
But with guns 9 foot long with a suppressor on it.
Yeah.
And I won't shoot without a suppressor. I don't even like hunting with people if they don't have a suppressor.
Yep, hunt civilized, folks. Hunt civilized.
Yeah.
So what's your go-to? What's your bow setup? What are you shooting?
So I'm shooting like a 2017 Hoyt right now. I shot a Matthews Helium from 2013 prior to that.
Yeah.
If I would have been drawn, I would have went to the RX-8 Hoyt this year. But obviously I'm going to go to the RX-9 now that it's out. But,
yeah.
And the only reason I shoot Hoyt, I think Matthews is so quiet, so smooth, and just like amazing bow. I think, all I've done is watch hunting shows my whole life. So Waddell and those guys, the way the Hoyt delivered the energy on the animal, I've always been a big fan of that. And so I'll go to the RX-9 because I'm actually going to shoot a deer this year. I didn't even kill one. I just took everybody to do it this year, of course.
Yeah.
But, so I'll go to the RX-9 next year probably. But I mean, my brother shoots the Phase 4. I shoot that. My dad killed a deer with his Helium from 2013. So when I was playing minor league ball, we had a deal with Matthews.
Okay,
so
cool.
I got,
Hell yeah.
I got discounts and things like that on Matthews products. So I shot Matthews. I just, for whatever reason, I think the Hoyt fits me a little better, or my style a little better, right?
Yeah.
And I've been extremely fortunate with both of them. I am not the greatest hunter in the world, but I've been extremely successful. I've lost one animal with a bow and probably killed 15.
Yeah.
And it's not because I'm good at shooting. I don't shoot them tack stuff like you do. I don't shoot 120 yards and all that stuff, but I get them close and I let them calm down so that I don't have to be perfect. That's what I think is more important is your stand setup, your wind. I use ozonics, whether it's cheating or not. I think it's probably like the best thing ever invented for bow hunting. And so I just get them close and let them calm down and, shoot them in the lungs, not the heart, because the lungs are a lot bigger and I can make mistakes, But no, my fiance, she shoots my 300 Win Mag. I didn't even pull a trigger this year, to be honest with you. I shot pigs and coyotes.
Yeah, stuff like that.
But my dad killed, obviously, the deer that the reason I'm here today, the other one. But and then my dad also hadn't killed a deer with his bow in 25 years, and the only second one he's ever killed, and the first one probably 100.
Yeah,
maybe, right? And he killed a 143-inch 9-pointer.
Heck
that
yeah.
Was a deer that was 10 years old or older that I saw 4 years ago twice, and he disappeared for 2, and I never saw him, and I found him this year. And when I found him, I was like, oh,
yeah, it's all
one. Yeah. So extremely excited for my dad, obviously, but so go back, because I'll try to get through that, because I have a few other things to tell you about that was really cool the next year to just, I know that technically, by Boone and Crockett rules that high fence, right? 23,000 acres, whatever, right? But there's different types of high fence hunting that that's the message that I think people don't understand. And hunting one deer, what the difference is when you hunt one deer that you've seen for 4 or 5 years. You've let him get to this age, and then you are going to hunt him. That he could have been there every day the year before, but it could have been cold in October. Now it's 106 in October, and there's mosquitoes and gnats and everything else all over you the whole time. And he don't show up till 9:30 at night because you're still running protein and still running cottonseed and everything else, and they can go eat when they want. So what are they going?
Yep.
What are we gonna do, right? As people,
just try to be there when they're there.
Yeah, I'm gonna get some shade during the day so that I don't sweat as much as I can, and I'm gonna get up. I'm gonna go over there and get something to eat when it's cool outside. When I'm walking around, and I'm gonna drink some water right there, And so that's a big thing, being able to for people to understand is like how passionate I am about how hard it is to really hunt one deer.
Yeah.
Anyways, I shoot him. Hear the bullet hit. What? He doesn't even look hurt, right? And like I said, everything had already went wrong as it could. South Texas, no snake boots. I'm in Adidas tennis shoes, no flashlight, cell phone light. Of course, no blood. Probably because I wasn't even looking in the right spot. I was just fortunate enough that he didn't go very far, and I turned.
Yeah.
And basically, the only opening, which that's another thing for if there is any new hunters. One thing that I've been fortunate with tracking deer is they don't want to run through the thick stuff either.
No.
They want to
Path
find
of least resistance.
That's exactly right. So I just happened to look, and it was wide open. And there he was laying there. Drug him out. And other than Mr. Randy, the gentleman that was on the place who has hunted there forever, who's 83 years old at the time, there's no one else there. Right. And, but luckily he had a winch on his truck. So we were able to winch him into the truck. Don't know what I would have done if he wasn't there. Figure it out, I guess.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Somehow, some way.
Yeah. I did have to load my fiance's deer this year by myself, which was a terrible experience. But get him back, obviously, hoorah, hoorah. Well, I just can't, how fortunate I am and how excited I was. And, all my buddies and myself included, he's the biggest 170-inch deer I've ever seen in my life, right? I mean, when people walk in my house, they think he came out of a pen.
Yeah.
When you're 24 inches wide, 25-plus inch beams, 11-inch tines, and your mask goes all the way to the tips of your horns. And he's unique looking, I can't explain how fortunate I am and how I never thought that would happen. And not that, I'm not the best hunter by any means, and I don't even, pretend to be, but how fortunate I was, is a buck of a lifetime, something you dream about.
Yeah. You gave yourself the opportunity to be able to do it. And I mean, we talk about it all the time, like getting people into hunting and new hunters and stuff. And I feel like one thing that's really left out, and it's left out in hopes that, not to scare people away, but at some point they're going to find out that like it takes money to hunt. Like you either have to work in the industry, or you have to work in an industry that allows you to be able to do that. Now there's more and more options cheaper options that are coming around, but in the grand scheme of things, you're still going to have to pay to play. And gone are the days, especially in Texas. I mean, even when you go out west, tag prices aren't getting any cheaper, and we talk about public land and we own this land and stuff, but $1,200 later, there's your elk tag, and then there's a subpar experience that you have. Like it kind of you're still paying to play, especially if for people with families. Like, could you imagine like putting up tag fees? In some states you have to pay for the tag before you get it to even get in this draw. So imagine you have 3 kids that want to hunt, or 3, and then you're paying for you and them to potentially draw a tag. I mean, they give you the money back at the end if you don't draw, but It's still tied up. That's a lot of money tied up for a few months.
Well, yeah. And you haven't even got there yet, right? And then you're talking 2 days of travel time. Because after listening to you, I know you're a driver. I'm driving there. I'm not getting an airplane. I got ice chest and everything else, and I ain't forgetting anything. I'm taking way more than I need. So, you're 2 days off of work to drive, and you're not even hunting, so, and that's if you drive straight through, depending on where you're going. So, that costs people money as well. And, the thing, like, I can't wait to elk hunt. I cannot wait to Mexico mule deer hunt one day. I cannot wait for it. But the amount of passion I have for these whitetail that I live with is what's different to me than, that's why it comes first, right?
Yep.
Not to mention being able to spend multiple weekends with family and friends, all the time. You go on an elk hunt, it's 7 days, right? Or whatever it is. I get to spend every weekend with my dad at the ranch. Like it just we don't go on family vacations. We deer hunt.
Yeah, you go to the ranch, go hunt.
Yeah, that's who we are. And so it's
definitely different for sure than because out west it's like we're going here to obviously like you said, go on the ranch, we're going to kill stuff too, right? We're going to hunt, but like the fact of you getting to spend that time with your dad and your family and friends and being able to bring people, because like if you're like, hey man, listen, we're gonna go to Colorado, we're gonna go a couple miles in the backcountry, you want to come hang out? Like most people are gonna be like, no, man, I'm not going with you to hang out in the backcountry. But if you say, hey, man, you want to come to the lease and hang out this weekend? Yeah, I think I can make that trip happen.
I got a 3-bedroom, 2-bath trailer house with Starlink, and we can watch the football game at night, with the porch and stuff. But that's because you want it to be comfortable for females to be able to come too. Obviously, I couldn't hunt if it wasn't comfortable for my fiance, because the amount of time I spend there, I couldn't get away from her that much, right? So I need to make sure that my mother, obviously, my brother's girlfriend, so on and so forth. But and it's just different, right? You're not taking a 9-year-old to kill his first elk and put him in a tent, and I realize that for the people who grew up that way, it is a little different. But here in Texas, like, getting a 9-year-old there for 7 days, aligning it with his dad's work schedule, whatever it is, right? I'm able to take people and let them kill their first deer and see the joy on their face. And, obviously that, after killing, I guess I should preface that, after killing that 170-inch deer, it's not that I ain't mad at him anymore, right?
Yeah.
But if I don't have one that I am mad at, all my joy comes from watching other people.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it just makes me extremely happy. And so I guess let me try to speed it up a little bit, because I know I can get extremely long-winded when I talk about things.
You're good, man. You're good.
But so anyways, I kill Jester, right? Unreal deer, just ecstatic. So that was 22, 23. Okay. Skip ahead a year to this year, 24, 25. A deer we knew at the same time, actually, Mr. Randy, the older gentleman that I hunt with, had sent me a video of Levy the year I killed Jester, and I was like, yeah, that's Levy, that's not Jester, but they're just so similar to each other. Just both big, high ranks, spread at the tips, beautiful South Texas deer, right? So going into the year, we're like, what are we, that, and that, I do everything for my dad as far as helping him with the deer and all that kind of stuff. And obviously I do anything to help him get a good one, right? And what we got to do, and I got to go look at this deer at least, right? And figure out, because at this point everybody's telling me he's 155, because there was some very unfavorable pictures of him in on the game cameras, like where he looked a lot smaller. And again, I mentioned in this article, it's not about score, but at the same time, when you're hunting a place like ours, there's a tier that you're trying to achieve depending on where you're at, right? Like, you're not going to kill this deer with that tag or whatever, right? And so anyways, it was, I think it was October 19th or something like that, or maybe that was the day he killed him. Maybe it was the weekend before, but him and my brother left on a Sunday morning. I put out some fresh cottonseed, which is crazy. It's like they could smell it the day you put it out. And they came walking out, and I was just like, like I said, I had two questions. Does he have any mass? Was the first one, because everyone thought he had like 28 inches of mass. And his right G2, if I knew it was like his shortest of his 2s and 3s, and if it was 8 inches, I was in the money, So I was pretty certain he was 24 inches wide, and I was pretty certain he had 25-inch beams. And sure enough, when he walked out, his mass was, I couldn't, looking at it, at his beams and stuff, I was not super like, but I could tell how big around his right G2 was. So I knew if his right G2 was that big around, because of course he walks out, 5 minutes before dark.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, he's everything. So we get back to camp, and I had been 162 on him basically, and my buddies, and you just want to make sure you do the right thing for the ranch, but also yourself. I mean, like you mentioned, we do spend a lot of money to hunt, and we don't want to make a mistake or take a deer from a guy who maybe it would have been whatever for him.
Yeah,
right?
or even shoot a deer before it gets to, like, when you're doing that, like, you want the deer to get to its potential, the
100%.
biggest it's gonna be. It might not be every deer's gonna be a 180, every deer's gonna be a 190, but I like seeing deer get to, like, the biggest that deer is capable of getting.
Yeah, and a lot of times, to be honest with you, we give them extra years and they get smaller. But,
Yeah.
they don't get smaller by 20 inches. They get smaller by 5, right? Or maybe 8. And you know what? That is a prime indicator. Go ahead and shoot them, right? Like, depending on their age or how hard they rutted the year before. Like, this deer, I don't know. I would say so the deer I killed was 100% not the biggest he'd ever been in his life, but he's 9 years old, 10 years old. Like, the chances of him getting back at that point, we'd given him the opportunity to get back to what he was before, and he hadn't done it. So it was like, let's go ahead and do it. And, I have to remind myself of this, and the people I hunt with, like, hey, we do pay the money to hunt too, right? To kill deer, like not to just raise them,
Yeah.
Which is a hard thing to say because I do love letting them get old. I don't kill young deer. I don't enjoy that whatsoever, but you do have to think about yourself sometimes, which is crazy to say, but
yeah.
I'm sure you understand where I'm coming from. Like, anyways, I look at him and I'm like, oh man. So I film him, whatever. We get back to camp. My dad and my brother have already went home. It's me and my buddy Zach on the porch, and I'm telling Zach, I'm like, dude. And he's a 9-pointer too, right? I mean, he's a 10-pointer mainframe, but his G4 on his right side is that long.
Yeah.
And that's it. He don't have another point on his head. And I'm like, dude, people are going to think I'm crazy. I think he's 170. I mean, I got guys telling me all day, like, hey, that deer ain't even going to get close to 160. Because I'm sure the same as you, right? You're sending every picture you got on game camera. And how old is he? What do you think he scores?
Yep.
And the score is more of a game for yourself, right? Like, where you're, at the end of the day, once you've harvested the deer, it's about the harvest. It's not about the score, but it is a game you play with yourself as far as, or your buddies, like who can get the closest, or
Dude, that was one of my favorite things. I can't remember what page on Instagram. I want to say it was Lost Rosias Ranch,
mm-hmm.
but they used to post the bucks and be like, "What does he score?" And they like play the game and you go try to get as close as you can. Like there was, because I mean, for me, like we're filming or something. I like looking at deer, and I like doing that too, and testing myself and being able to be like, how far am I off on this deer? And like there was a solid like little stretch there when they were doing it. I was like coming within 5 inches, 2 inches, and I was getting pretty good at it. And I'm like, well, dude, this is the only way you're going to learn. If you don't have the ability to just look at deer all the time, looking at pictures, or have some page or something post about it and say like, what do you think this deer is? And being like, okay. And then they do like the breakdown of it to tell you where you were off and where you missed. And you're like, oh, okay, then use this to measure this. And like, that's the only way you're going to learn.
Yeah. I use their ears a ton.
Mm-hmm.
How wide their ears are. Typically it's like 3 to 3.5 inches. I use that as like a marker when I'm looking at them. But I sit with a pen and paper, dude, at restaurants. I mean, my old lady, I'll be like, hey, get your calculator out. I mean, I know that she gets tired of it, but it's just because you don't want to let down if you shoot a deer, right? And you think he's this and he really turns out to be that. That's why I crucified myself so much over scoring them. But at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter. But it's once you've like hunted so much, and I'm sure that if I catch flack over saying that, it's just what I love to do, right? Like,
yeah,
I'm so enamored.
It's the challenge that you're putting in it for yourself.
Yeah. And at the end of the day, if I think he's going to score 142, I'm going to let a kid shoot him, or a woman or whatever, to make them happy, because I want to make them happier, and I don't have to kill one. You know, like it is what it is. But so, anyways, we're on the porch, and I tell my buddy Zach we're watching the video over and over again. And it's Sunday night, so there's no one there, right? No one at the ranch, and I'm like, they're gonna think I'm crazy, you know. And so, anyways, next weekend my dad whacks him, and call my brother. I'm like, immediately, like I said, and all right. And he's like, he ain't as big as we thought. I'm like, idiot, you know, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm like, well, what do you mean? He's like, I just don't think he's as big as we thought. I'm like, how's his mass? He's like, pretty good. Well, he's G2 on his right side, 8 inches. He's like, yeah. I was like, 24 inches wide. He's like, yeah. I was like, are his beams 25? He's like, yeah. I'm like, well, what exactly are you telling me that he's not as good as we thought? You know, like, sounds like he's everything we thought. I'm like, is dad happy? Because that's all that matters, right? That's the most important part is making sure you're happy, because I'm sure you've been somewhere. Ground shrinkage is a real thing. Yeah. And not a lot of people talk about that. Yeah. And at the end of the day, it really doesn't matter about ground shrinkage. It's about the age of the animal, making sure you harvest the right one and stuff. And I definitely believe in that 100%. But getting someone excited about something and then having to let down if they thought it was bigger than it was is also, you know, it's a gut punch. Yeah. Well, sure enough, when he rolled in, I was like, oh, I don't know what you're talking about, bud. This deer is everything we thought he was, and maybe more, you know. And anyways, my dad was extremely, extremely excited. And once I started looking at stuff and putting those two pictures side by side, I was like, you know, I've had the desire to be part of the hunting industry my whole life. It's all, I mean, it replaced baseball for me. You know, when I lost that competitive aspect of it, it is my passion. There is nothing I care more about. Even if I don't kill them, right? I mean, if I know who they are and I'll raise them and I'll watch them and I know where they're going to be and I can bring somebody down there, you know, my buddy's son or you know, a friend who maybe had the opportunity to kill, you know, a 60-inch 8-pointer or whatever. And then he gets to come down there and shoot a 127-inch 9-pointer with me. Yeah. I mean, that right there is why I do it. You know, like that is what makes me so happy. You know.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And like you see there's a lot of athletes in all sports that hunt, and it kind of like after they transition out of that sport, most of them spend a lot more time hunting because that's what they want to do. You know, like growing up, it's especially kind of hard when you're playing a bunch of sports and trying to hunt. Like you said, you know, you and your dad leaving after games and all that kind of stuff, and you hear stories about guys that are in the pros that are still doing the same thing, especially, you know, football players. They're playing during season, but baseball's a little bit better, you know, because you're playing in the spring. Yeah. If you like hunting turkeys, then you're shit out of luck. But
oh yeah, but when I was playing select ball, when my dad was coaching the team when I was, you know, 9, 10, 11, 12, whatever. Oh, come November, first weekend in November, we were done playing baseball. It was hunting season, right? Yeah. There ain't no fooling around there. You know?
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, like it's a cool thing to see like athletes and stuff, like I said, transition to that and get back out in the woods that, you know, they gave up a lot of time, you know, when they're younger years playing sports to instead of hunting, and now they can kind of get back into it now. And I mean, there's crossover in the rodeo world too. Like I see a lot of guys that are getting out of rodeo and they're going hunting, and when they can, it's a lot of crossover that I wish was like a little bit closer, you know?
Yeah. I talked to Cooper Davis on the phone the other day about deer hunting. I mean, didn't know him from Adam, and just randomly we got connected, and I mean, what a great guy he is. And, you know, loves to hunt, loves the outdoors. You know, it's great. Like I love hearing all these guys talk about growing the sport, call it a sport, whatever. You know, I don't get into all the ethics of it as far as that's concerned. It's a lifestyle for me, right? But also that's what makes it cost more money. You know, so exactly. It's like, dang, I'm on a catch-22 on that one. You know, more people want to do it, more it costs me to do it. But no, it's awesome. I mean, it is a challenge. It's a way to feed your family. You know, we don't buy ground meat at the store, right? We eat deer meat. My dad's killed several elk. We eat elk meat. We definitely, if we eat beef, we buy it from a local rancher from where I grew up. So I just, there's just nothing about it all the way around that it's just extremely makes me feel whole. I've never felt as connected to anything as when I'm in the wild and I'm hunting, especially to just see kids do it, and I don't have any kids of my own. I know you got one on the way, which is awesome.
Yeah, pretty close here too, man. Pretty close. If I have to jump off this podcast real quick, we'll know why.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. But
no, it's gonna be a lot of fun, like doing that, and I love it. Like you said, we kind of grew up in kind of the same towns. I know, like Sweeney's a little bit bigger than Goliad, but like that hunting, fishing, being outdoors, being in the dirt kind of stuff.
Burger.
Oh yeah, we do have. That's the only thing. Well, Whataburger and Dairy Queen. That's what we got. We got Whataburger and Dairy Queen. Oh no, I wouldn't tout on the Texas.
That's my stop on the way to South Texas, buddy. I'm 59 the whole way, and I stop at the Texan every time.
Yeah, so. I'm a little biased because like the Texan didn't get put in until after I left.
Oh,
so
yeah,
like
absolutely.
the tote, the one next to it, like that's the store that I'm gonna go to because that's the one I had in high school. Yep, yeah.
Oh, I hammered the Subway. Yeah, I stopped there too. I can promise you that. But,
But like I said, just growing up that way, man, it's cool, and I mean, more people need to get into it. Of course, it's getting more popular with Yellowstone and everything else, and more people seeing hunting for what it is and getting into it. I like it, but then it's also like, hey, man, I need places to hunt too.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think probably as much as anything, if people could just be educated about it, it would probably make me enjoy it more. Like, oh yeah. I'm sure you're in some of those groups on Facebook. You see these guys, and I'm not discrediting them. I know they're feeding their family, but I don't want to be questioned about what I do as far as I'm a high fence hunter and this and that, and you're shooting a yearling spike. Yeah. We're playing two different games, and I know that's probably controversial or whatever, but I encourage those guys.
I see it all the time.
Read.
Like I'm in those groups and stuff, and I like it because some of the stuff is funny and some of them has jokes and everything. But then like some of them are just like, I saw, what was it? It was like a Los Cazadores post or something like that of a low fence deer, and and then it was like a kid shot it, and then they posted in the group. And like they were like, I'm pretty sure it's only something about, I bet you 3 sides of it wasn't low fence or something like that. And I'm like, that for one, like you must not have anything else to do with your life if you're gonna take a picture of a deer a kid shot and then make that kind of comment about it. And I mean that's the bad part about the hunting industry is like we like to eat our own, but it's like what are you doing
in this shit?
Like what are you doing, man? Like I get it. If you want to make a meme, you want to make a joke about something, cool. But when you're going as far as like taking pictures like that and then like posting it and being ha ha ha, look at this, like it's not really that cool. I don't find it funny.
If you drove down the road right now in front of the place I hunt, it has a high fence in the front that was built in 1970. I found a 156-inch 9-pointer down on the road that 2 weeks before I ran him back into our high fence and thought I killed him getting him back in. But there's so many holes in it from the years and years of it. If deer want out,
they're getting out.
And you mentioned Las Races earlier.
Yeah.
I can tell you he posted something that said, we don't have a high fence to keep our deer in. We have a high fence to keep others out. So when you've got a guy next to you that's got stalker bucks and breeder genetics and so on and so forth, and you're hunting native deer on your 5,000 acres or 2,500 or 1,500,
that tool works both ways.
You're keeping deer out,
Yep.
So, and I'm not discrediting the industry in Texas. I mean, I work in oil and gas, and it's a big part of oil and gas as far as the breeder deer are concerned. There's a lot of business done on those places and guys that get to kill that. And those guys don't have, 45 hunts in them. to kill a deer like I did. You know,
No.
they got a weekend to come with you, and you better get it done, right?
Yeah.
And so there's a time and a place for that. I mean, I've done it. It's obviously not what I enjoy, but I don't knock it either, you know. And I also think it's cool the guys that grow them, you know. It's like breeding horses or cattle, or I hunt with a guy who has PBR bucking bulls, you know.
Yeah.
Like the lineage of them is extremely impressive.
Yeah.
So,
And I mean, it's like I said, it's controversial for a lot of people. When it's done right, it is a really cool thing to see. Like you said, that helps with keeping deer that you don't want out of your herd, and it also, you know, keeps some deer in your herd. But as all things are not perfect, there's holes in those fences. There's ways to get in and out. I mean, if you think about it, if coyotes and hogs can get in and run out of these fences, they're making holes and stuff too. So I'm just saying.
We had a mountain lion 2 weeks ago 6 times on camera. 6 times.
Yeah.
You got all the high fence you want, and a mountain lion
it's
is
getting
going to
in.
decimate your herd, especially at the end of the rut when he shows up, and these old deer just beat to shit because they're fighting and haven't eaten. That's the scariest thing on the place. I'd rather have no fence. You know, like bring on the poachers. Don't let that mountain lion loose on this place.
Yeah.
Right?
Exactly. Because, I mean, and like that's another controversial thing that's going on right now in Texas. I mean, like, a lot of people don't think that we have the mountain lion numbers that now I don't have the stats and the numbers to, you know, to be like, hey, this is fact. But in my humble opinion, I think there's way more mountain lions in Texas than we even know.
Well, I don't disagree with you there, but a mountain lion kill 40 deer a year from what I understand. They kill for fun. They don't always eat everything they kill, depending on male or female, and if they have cubs or not. And they travel either between 60 and 90-mile radius or something along those lines. And when you work your ass off all year to pay for your deer lease and you want to hunt a deer, you got to get that mountain lion out of there in a hurry, because the deer that you're waiting for next year that you gave another year because you're doing the right thing, you're letting them go from 6 to 7 or 7 to 8 or whatever it is, depending on where you're hunting, and then that mountain lion takes him from you. No, that ain't okay with me.
No, not at all. Not at all.
So,
but yeah,
don't get me wrong. I mean, mountain lion is. I don't have any desire to go to Colorado or where, you know, out west and chase them and run them up a tree and kill it in a tree. But if I was sitting in a stand in South Texas with a rifle and one walked out, I'd take that over a 200-inch South Texas free range deer. You know,
yeah,
I mean, that is opportunity of a lifetime. So
exactly, and I mean, they're showing up more. More people are shooting them lately that I've seen. You know, as much as I've been paying attention to it, like there's been a lot of lion sightings and things going on. So I mean, they're there. And just think about it. There's more deer on the landscape, which means more food for them. So I'm sure they're not going hungry.
No,
like starvation is not keeping their population down.
No, I got a picture of one with a raccoon in his mouth, or her mouth, whichever it was.
Yeah.
Golly. Down a Sendero, yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. And if I hadn't been so busy at that part of the year, or the first of this year, I would definitely been in my truck down there to give it my best shot. I mean, I realize I shot in the dark, right? But
you get one of them e-collars, see if you can call it in.
I'd give it everything I had, that's for sure. And I'd have cameras everywhere, and I'd have bait stations and so on and so forth. But no, it's just like, if people have, I challenge anybody. Like, I mean, when I show people the type of deer that I kill that don't spend a whole lot of time hunting, or that not even me, right? Like, I mean, I can tell you my 3 best deer. I got the 170-inch deer Jester. I got a 155-inch deer, the one I talked about that my dad killed. And I got a 154-inch 9-pointer. He's really an 8-pointer. He's got a 1-inch tine. So I killed him next year after. Yeah, I wish he wouldn't have had it. 153-inch 8-pointer with my bow. So I'll tell you that story. I'll try to be quick with it too, because I know.
Oh, it's all good, man.
So the next year after I killed Jester, obviously we heard the Jester and Levy story, right? Obviously we all believe they're related at some point. But the next year, season begins and same thing. We're trying to find the deer, whatever. What are we looking for? Well, we kind of thought, okay, this deer storming, that's the one we need to get on. My brother was going to shoot him and whatever. And, got one glimpse of him October 9th, not 19th, that was October 21st of that year. Got one glimpse of him just randomly. Showed up one morning, got a glimpse of him, Ron filming, and we're looking at it. And we're like, yeah, I mean, I think he's the one we need to chase, right? Well, he, at the time, was working for a midstream company that was building a interconnect or something outside of Encinal, which is not very far from our place. So he got to live at the ranch during hunts.
Ooh.
So he's 65 hunts in at this point. 65 hunts in. I mean, he's hunting. He's not hunting the morning hunts, but he's making it back for the evening hunts. Right?
Evening hunts, yeah.
Yeah. And texted me and my dad one evening, and he's like, guess who decided to show up? And his deer was on camera every night. Every single night. And so he's 65 hunts in. This is after Thanksgiving. This is the first part of December. Every night, the deer is on camera. Sometimes twice, and never showing up in the daylight, right? And somehow, some way, he just came walking down this road, started out at like 400 yards and walked right in. And my brother Ryan texted us, and he's like, guess who decided to show up? And there was like a kind of a freak cull that had been in the area, and I'm thinking, oh, it's that cull that showed up.
Yeah.
He's going to shoot him, whatever. And my dad texts back like, who? And then, I just shot Stormy. And I'm like, call him. And of course, he's frantic, just like I was, right?
Yeah.
I'm like, well, what? He's like, oh, I don't know. And I'm like, what do you mean? And he's shooting a Remington 308, same can. Your silencer code, guys.
Yeah.
For your marketing PR. And he, probably didn't hit him exactly where he wanted to, but he was shooting a burger bullet and just blood out of this world. And he's FaceTiming me while I was tracking him. I'm like, you're 10 yards and there's that much blood? Like,
he's dead.
Is he not laying right next to you and you don't see him or something, Anyways, it's kind of the same story. He's almost the only one down there. There's one other guy there. Deer ran about 30 yards. And anyways, he ended up scoring 172. Beautiful deer. The one that was my brother with the dark beard that I sent you the picture of. The 10 with the. So, anyways, as that is all transpired, because I'm not even paying attention to hunting a deer myself at this point, because he's a basket case because he's 65 hunts in on this deer, and he's like, he's never going to do it, right? The stress that's with it, right? When it comes to that, when you put so much time in. And my buddy Zach, I'm like, hey, look, you can kill my deer this year, but if there's a 150-inch 8-pointer, like, just so you know, you don't get to kill my deer anymore. Like, they're 145-inch 8-pointer or something. Like, he's yours,
you can have it.
I ain't got a big 8-pointer, and if one shows up, just so you know, like, well, sure enough, we just randomly put this camera out looking for a deer for my dad, or for my dad's deer that he was already hunting, and his 8-pointer pops up out of nowhere. I'm like, what? Where'd this deer come from? And so actually, my brother was down there, of course, because he was living there. Got out of the stand, was watching the cell cameras. He was there one morning, drives down the road, gets out of the truck, runs like 900 yards down this pipeline, films him so we can look at him, to see how old he is and everything, because nighttime pictures sometimes get difficult to age and so on and so forth. So he gets a film of him. Everybody agrees, we're going to kill him. He's whatever. So, boom, Ron shoots that deer on a Sunday night. And so the next morning, Monday morning, I'm like, going down there. He didn't get to take no pictures. He's basically by himself, right? Like, tie his head up in the cooler. I'll be down there. But at the same time, I've been getting pictures of this 8-pointer for like a week and a half, too, right? And he's like on a string, right? And, I get there and I'm thinking like, he's like, you want to go try to like, and I'm like, dude, I ain't going to get set up in that area. we're going to sleep in tomorrow. We're going to take pictures of your deer. We're going to celebrate tonight. I mean,
There you go.
You just did this, you know? So anyways, we get good pictures of his deer. We celebrate, you know, we get up, you know, 8 the next morning or whatever, start getting stuff together, and we go, and I've gotten to where I really just like hunting out of like a 3-foot tripod, like maybe 4 foot to where my butt is basically.
Yeah.
But I'm not too tall to where I'm silhouetted, and I can just cut holes and kind of, I can get hidden, right?
Yeah,
like I can be from basically chest up, you know, is the only thing that's visible, and I can have enough shade and things around me. And I got with a gentleman from Louisiana who I hunted with at the time, Mr. Dave Walker, recurve shooter. I mean, just like outlaw deer hunter, just as good as they get, you know.
Yeah.
And I called him. I was like, "Would you mind helping me, like, show me a few things?" And dude, I built this setup with his help, and it was just unbeatable. And so the funny part is, I hadn't shot my bow all year at this point, right? I mean, I'm a complete wrong example of what people should do when it comes to this. Like, I ripped 3 arrows in camp at 25 yards, and I don't really shoot a whitetail past 25 yards. That's probably the only reason I'm successful is because
like you said, you like get them close,
yards. Yeah, so rip 3 shots and bows on and ready to go, and you know, go to the stand in Hey Dudes, and you know, all the guys that I hunt with love to make fun of me about wearing Hey Dudes and hunting and this and that. Getting the stand at like 3:45 after shooting 2-3 arrows at camp, you know, building the stand at noon that day basically, and at like 4:40, I text my brother and my buddy Zach. They were hunting together near me, just all hunting or whatever, pigs or anything. I was like, all right, I'm going dark. I'll holler at y'all. You know, when I'm done, I'm not going to be on my phone anymore. Deer walked out, or I had a young deer walk out, and he kind of circled me funny. I had one weak spot in my setup, kind of like right to my left, and I was on a pipeline, and I was back basically in the brush, and I had a feed pile at 24 yards or whatever it was. I had one weak spot. If you walk like the edge of the brush, they could kind of see me there, right? That was like where I walked in and stuff. It's kind of my weak spot, right? And I'd had javelinas like underneath my stand and shit at this point, which probably helped me, to be honest with you,
because they're hanging out there,
yeah. And he spooked a little bit because I could hear his feet, you know, like got heavy in the dirt, but didn't really freak out. And as soon as I hear him spook, I look up, and here comes the deer that I'm looking for. And if he doesn't walk the road right next to me, if he walks just a little bit further and comes in, he got a clue that I'm there, right? Of course, that's exactly what he's supposed to do. So I hunted 15 minutes and shot 153-inch or 154-inch deer with my bow. And so then I was like laughing stock of, you know, don't put in the time, don't work. You know, stuff,
just show up and do whatever, and then just kill deer.
Yeah, and so he was actually quartering to me a little bit, and I try to, you know, think about like just doing the most ethical thing and semi-quartering to me, right? Not like hard quartering where I had to shoot him in the chest or the shoulder even. Basically where I could shoot him right behind the shoulder and go out the last rib, almost just like you would want as a quartering at waist shot. And I'm sitting there, I'm like, you're not going to shoot him quartering to you. Well, that took about 10 seconds. And I was like, I can hit a tennis ball at 20 yards, you know, like I should be able to hit him.
Where you need to hit him, yeah.
Yeah. And so I shoot him. And so it's been like 20 minutes since I talked to my brother, right? And I call him. He's like, are you okay? Did you fall off the stand? What's going on? You know? And I'm like, nah, I just shot that deer. He's like, what? I'm like, yeah, I just shot him. He's like, I'm like, yeah, he's probably landed pipeline, to be honest with you. I mean, he lungs, liver, everything inside of him just got an arrow right through it. I watched it, you know, bounce right through him, hit the, I had a corn feeder at 30 that bounced, hit the corn feeder, and, you know, just, I'm like, he's done. I'm on our way. I'm like, what? No, why would you come over here at 4 o'clock? Like, it's December 5th, you know? We're hunting. I'm like, just hunt, you know? Oh, what? We're coming. I'm like, all right, whatever. And so I call my dad, and, you know, of course, like 10 minutes goes by, complete opposite of what you're supposed to do. And I get out of the stand because I'm like, every other deer I've killed with my bow at this point, I've lunged them and they've died almost in sight, right? And I think I hit this deer in the exact same spot. And so get out of the stand, get my arrow, blood, everything's good. He's not laying in the pipeline like I thought he would be. I'm like, all right. So I start walking. I mean, it's easy to see the blood, right, at this point. And there's probably 40 yards. There's a fence line that turns in like a little old road that used to be there. I'm like, oh, he's laying down this thing. Mr. Cocky, confident, got it going on, right? And I walk past that road and I don't see him laying there. And I told my dad, I was like, I'm going to get back in the stand and be real quiet for a while because I don't know what I just did. Like, I made a mistake.
Yeah.
Well, when I had walked past the road, and when I turned and walked back, just the angle I was at, I could see his horn sticking up over the grass. He was laying down that road. I was like, oh, thank goodness. Felt this big,
Yeah.
and then went to feeling about that big.
That big. And then, yeah, it was good to see that he was laying there. He just needed to look a little bit harder.
Just kill my emotions,
up and down, like roller coaster, just like from being so excited that, especially with it being like 15 minutes in the stand, there he is, boom, it happens, you get so excited, and then it's like, oh shoot, like this is, where is this going?
Yeah,
this is not going where I'm supposed to be doing. Yeah.
Didn't even have time to get excited. Then it happens. Then I'm ecstatic, obviously. Then I'm like, and who knows, right? At this point, and I'm like, I put nothing to that, like whatever. And then all of a sudden, I'm like,
yeah. The bottom drops out real quick.
Yeah, then you get back to celebrate. It's like it's a terrible example, but I told my fiance after we got engaged, she's like, "You're really quiet." I'm like, I feel like I just killed a deer. Like the adrenaline dump,
dude.
You
know what?
You feel numb.
You do. It's like, did that really happen?
What was that?
Like, I know I did it. Like, I was there, but like, and it went the way that I thought it was going to go. Okay. Yeah. Everything's right. Everything's good. Everything's good.
Yeah. It was that was the whole deal, was the adrenaline. Like the dump of everything was like, you put all this effort and time and all this stuff and all the work you put into it. And then it happens like that.
Yeah.
And then you don't know if it happened right, wrong, and and then, oh, it was great. And then my brother shows up. I'm like, I think you might get over 150. My brother's like, he might score 160. And, they're so excited. And I'm empty on the inside, right? Like I have no emotion, not even talking.
I don't even know what's going on right now.
Yeah, or where I'm at. And I think that's why you do it, right? Like that's what makes it so enjoyable.
That feeling, man. That feeling. For sure. That's what we're all chasing.
But I love it, man. It's just it's exactly who I am, and I love growing them. I love letting them get old. I love working hard to chase them, and I love to see other people do it too.
Dude,
it makes me
heck
happy.
Yeah. Like I said, man, I really appreciated you sending me that your article that you wrote and everything. Like I think that stuff's so cool, and for anybody that spends the time to hunt, and is successful, then they want to go the extra to do like write articles or, like you said, spend the time to take good pictures. Like, man, they're especially like the way photos are now, digitally saving them. Like, I think like to people that have like house fires and stuff like that, like it's people lose taxidermy and horns and stuff real easy, but the fact if you have good photos of that deer, like it's always a good backup. And like filming and doing stuff like that, like you have that memory forever. You can show it to other people, even if you're not gonna make a YouTube video or put out the next hunting show or even edit it. Just the fact that you have the raw footage of it happening and you can go back and look at it again is so cool. And I think if you're able to and you hunt, like try. Like, even if you just have your phone, just try to just take as many photos and videos of everything. Because, like you said, you can lose antlers and stuff real easy. And the fact that you can pull that up or save it on a hard drive.
Well, I would cry like a son of a gun if I lost the horns that I put on.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
But to add to that, I think it's a great tool for people as they're learning to age deer and so on and so forth. It's really easy to see them in the wild and, like we talked about ground shrinkage being a real thing. You see that deer walk out. Well, yeah. Oh, there he is. Well, you give yourself a chance to video him and go back and look at him and confirm and talk to your buddies and talk it through. Your emotions are so high in that situation that you can make him 7 years old when you see him, right?
Yeah.
And but you watch the film of him when you get back, and he's a 4-year-old 155-inch deer, and you're like, he's the next one.
Yep.
Like
We're gonna watch him for
he's
a few
got a
years.
chance. And I think that helps people. It definitely helps me. I can promise you, I've seen him walk out in the fog and be like,
yeah,
and,
that one needs to go right now.
Yeah, but you take a step back, and it's no different than hitting a baseball. You step in the batter's box, ninth inning, 2 outs, man on second, tie game, whatever. If you don't step out and slow the game down, the chances of you succeeding are not great. And hunting's the exact same way. You've got to slow down the situation. A buddy of mine, Chase Lamb, said it best: you got to be present in the moment.
Oh yeah,
and I think that's definitely what I try to do. It took me a long time. Like, had I not been in those high intense situations, I don't know that I would have gotten there. But man, I've got videos of me like this year with the kid on my lap when he shot his first deer, and or even my fiance when she shot her first. Boy, I was shaking like a leaf. But I'm doing everything I can to talk to her, and she's telling me it's probably better for her because I'm so damn nervous.
Yeah, she's telling you to
She's
calm
like,
down.
could you calm down? Like, I got this. And I'm like, oh, you have no idea what you're fixing to do right now, like. And then she had perfect. 190 yards, smoked this deer, sat him down. One of the biggest things probably I've changed. Obviously shooting deer with a rifle. When you sit them down, I've experienced several deer over the last few years. Not me personally, but people I've hunted with that have got up and run off after they've dropped.
Mm-hmm.
And growing up, they go down, they're down, right?
Yeah.
And I used to never think shooting them twice was the right thing to do, but I'm gonna tell you right now, their head switches a couple times, I'll put another one in them real quick because I ain't chasing them.
And I think a lot of people get, especially with a rifle, you're like, oh yeah, he shot him and he fell down, but like you stay on that gun and keep that reticle on that deer, and you rack another one, and you just sit there and you wait.
Yeah.
Like
that
coming off the gun, and I want to celebrate just as much as you do, but stay on this gun right now, because if he tries to move again, put another one in it.
If he flinches, he's getting another one. Not only that, but it is the most ethical thing to do as well.
Mm-hmm.
Especially a first-time shooter or something like that. I'll send you a video of one of my best friend's kids shot the deer, and you can hear the commentary that goes along with it. Obviously, we talk to him like he's grown up because he's a great kid. He's 9 years old, and he had been with me 3 weeks before, and he had a hard time with a couple javelinas. I was like, no, we ain't using this bog, you standing up crap. We're going. Well, I use a bog, don't get me wrong, but on the butt of the gun, not the front of the gun, where you're standing up and whatever. And the other thing I did was put my suppressor on his 308 that my brother had actually sold my best friend. And he was, we practiced, obviously, 20 minutes, and somehow it was my fiance, my best friend, and his son, obviously, in the stand, 5x5 box gun. Somehow I ended up on the bucket, on the ground, thinking a deer was coming to one side, and a different deer came out that we ended up shooting, but came from the other side. I said, and my buddy asked me in the middle of it, what are we going to do if he comes out, over here to the left? We're going to rodeo at that point and figure it out. And sure enough,
that's exactly what happened.
And but man, super excited for him, and I was just, to be part of things like that, and I think it makes me just as proud to be able to give that to people, to be able to tell my, I told my buddy, I said, and he, we grew up with that, don't spoil your kids, let them shoot a deer that's too big at this age, crap, I told my buddy, I said, if he comes to kill, he killed a 135-inch deer this year. If he comes next year and he kills a 101 and he's pissed off about it, then we know we got a problem. But if he loves hunting, that's
it
what
ain't
it's
gonna matter.
about. Yeah,
and like it's funny you say that, because like the whole time when you were talking about numbers and everything and going back and forth and what year and your dad and your brother have killed, I noticed that there's no well, I shot a 160 last year, so I have to shoot a 165 next year. The whole time it was just like, what deer gets me excited, or like what deer is getting to that age class. And I think a lot of people miss out on that, or misinterpret, when people do use numbers to signify what deer you're talking about or what deer you shot. But it's not really about that. It's more about, that's the deer that got me excited. Just so happened he's 165 inches. Now next year, if I see, like you said, 150-inch 8-point, like, yeah, he's technically smaller, but I'm just as excited to hunt that deer as I was the 160 or the 170.
Oh yeah, there was a 203 and a 202 killed on the place I hunt this year, and I would have killed the 170-inch deer. I killed over both of them just because he fit me. He was what made me happy. I loved the chase. I feel like, like I said, he embodied South Texas. Everything about him was, the front of Texas Trophy Hunters when he stepped out, right?
Yeah.
Like when he looked at you, it was like, that's a picture, and that's just how I've grown up, and how, I just love it so much, and I love that. I like I said, I can't, being able to take people and see the smile on their face, see it on my dad's face, see it on my brother's face, because we work hard and to do this, and we put in the time. And like my buddies, I can't say enough about them. We work together,
Yeah.
I had a buddy this year that his dad killed a really nice 173-inch deer, and he was in front of another guy. And the guy's like, "Hey, your deer's over here." And they were rodeoing to get over there. Didn't work out. Turns out he ended up killing him there, but he wasn't hunting him there, So like, just that, the brotherhood aspect. I like the campfire,
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Have some cocktails, cook a steak. That's why I love Waddell's road trips and shit, but, I just can't say enough about it. But I am super interested in, and hope that before long that I'll be extremely involved in the Western hunting as well, with mule deer and elk.
Yeah.
That's my next challenge for sure.
Heck yeah, man. It's all, I really want to go out west and shoot an antelope or a pronghorn. That's really what I'm gunning for. Yeah, that's what I'm trying to go for.
Right?
Yeah. Hopefully. We'll see.
You going to reach out and touch one?
I want to, man. I really do.
What caliber are you shooting whenever, if you head out there?
I'm building a 6 arc right now, in an AR. But honestly, if I did get that hunt, I'd probably have to go. Like, I like those Ruger Americans. I have one in 300 blackout, and I'd probably go get one either like a 6.5 PRC, or I'd get a 6 arc in a bolt gun, just so I can run like a little bit hotter loads. Like those bullets in an AR, if I had a longer barrel, maybe I could get the speed that I would want. But like,
yeah,
it's touch and go. Like I wouldn't be able to. The AR that I'm building right now, I wouldn't be able to. I wouldn't feel comfortable taking it and shooting one out there. Like if I had one at like 120, 150, I'd feel more comfortable. But to shoot one at 500, I'd want something a little bit faster.
So since I know we're getting pretty long here, and I'll try to be short, but so since you're involved in the firearm market, right, and you worked at Horizon, my dad, I think, is going to have a 22 Creedmoor built by him. I think that's kind of like one of their specialties, right?
Yes, sir. They're the ones to go to for it.
But have you seen that new 7 mag caliber that Federal's building, that you can run like an 18-inch barrel on it or whatever, and have the? I'm sure you know all about that.
I've seen the 7mm backcountry. I haven't shot one. The people that I kind of listen to, they're not dogging it, but there are some holes in it that they think. One, it's a really, really hot load. So one is ammo availability. Ammo
Oh yeah,
availability is the
for sure.
biggest thing. Second thing is like, I mean, if you're hunting, you're not really going to shoot out a barrel, right? Unless you're like a PRS guy, you're not really going to shoot out a barrel. But they're just we're waiting to get to see it perform more. I mean, they did a great job on getting a couple rifle manufacturers on the bandwagon to where there's availability of rifles. That's another biggest thing. Like when you come out with a new caliber, like you got to have people that are obviously making guns for them, and
the
that
Nosler's
can
kind
get
of
them.
the same way, right?
Yeah,
All the
yeah.
Nosler calibers, I think, right?
Yeah, like the 28 Nosler's a great round for a lot of animals for sure, but ammo availability and being able to get a rifle made in that caliber is what holds it back. But yeah, I mean, honestly, I like the 7 PRC. I've
My dad
shot
killed
more.
Levy with a 7 PRC this year.
Yeah, I mean, I've had more time with Hornady bullets and stuff than Federal. So like I trust, not that I don't trust Federal, obviously they've been here for a long time, but like I've always been like a Hornady guy. So like the
Oh, I shoot
300
the
PRC,
ELDX. Yeah.
yeah, the 300 PRC, like all the calibers that they roll out, like I'm like, okay, like y'all, I know that y'all have spent the time and the money and the testing and everything else to know. Because I mean, a lot of the Hornady guys there, like they all hunt. I've had the opportunity to meet them at different trade shows and stuff. So at the end of the day, like they're building bullets to kill animals, and that's
Yeah.
what I like, because that's what I'm trying to do. Not in a like a bad way or anything, but like I want to know that the bullet performs and it's
You
gonna
ain't plenty
do
of
what it
targets with them.
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Like if we want to shoot steel, we want to shoot paper and do all that kind of stuff. Cool. But at the end of the day, I'm trying to make sure that this animal dies as ethically and humanely as possible, which is the fastest. So that's what I like.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
For
but
sure. Couldn't
if
agree more with that.
I like 7 PRC. I'm a big fan of the 6.5 PRC. And I mean, even like you said with Horizon, like they've built, even when I was there, they built some rifles that were shorter in that 20-inch range in the 6.5 PRC and those calibers, and like they perform. They're
Yeah.
there. Because,
Oh,
I
yeah.
mean, gone are the days that you need a 26-inch barrel. Like, if you want one, cool. But if you want to put a suppressor on it, that's a big
Yep.
rifle to be toting around. And the way
That's
these
a-
calibers are going and stuff, it's like you can get it in a smaller package.
Yeah, my buddy Brooks Raley, I actually played ball with him. He pitched at A&M. He pitched in the big leagues for the Cubs. I mean, he's been in the big leagues for 9 or 10 years. Him and his brother Corey are. I don't know if Brooks necessarily is a partner in it, but Exile Firearms. And,
Okay, yeah, I've heard of them.
Yeah, they got that 27 Tombstone caliber that I assume that I don't know this to be 100% true, so
Yeah.
but it's one of their deals, and they've been all over the world shooting that caliber here recently. It looked like short barrel with a suppressor, and that's why I got the suppressed weapon systems gun, because
Yep.
when I met with Mr. Orr, I was like, I'm lugging this 15-pound rifle around with a suppressor on it. You know, he's like, you ever heard of this? And he showed it to me, and I had $500 in my bank account. I'd given him $500 deposit, kind of thing. You know, scraped up orders for diesel to get home or something.
Exactly.
But, yeah, it is. It's definitely there. Like I prefer bow hunting, but obviously I love to shoot rifles too. You know, and I definitely that's the only drawback to taking people hunting. You know, is if they want to bow hunt, I'm like, sorry, man.
Yeah.
It's a little difficult to do that here. We'll get in a stand, you can shoot one with a rifle, but that we don't have enough time and chances of me being able to tell you it's the right one or the wrong one or whatever in that situation.
There's a lot more controllables with the rifle for sure.
Oh yeah.
Well, heck yeah, man. I'm going to keep you all night, dude. This has been awesome. I'm glad we got to sit down and talk and everything. We're going to have to do it again, because as much as you like hunting, there's going to be some more big deer to fall between you, your dad, and your brother. And it'd be cool, maybe one day if they're up for it, we get a little family podcast or something in there. That'd be real cool to hear all y'all go back and forth.
My dad and my brother for sure. My dad tells me all the time when we're at the ranch that he never thought it would even be possible, coming, the way, just living the dream, I guess, being able to be part of a ranch, like ranches like we've been fortunate enough to hunt, and just being able to spend that time together as a family and with our friends and enjoy the harvest and all that kind of thing. But I know they would enjoy it. We'll be shed hunting here soon, and we'll be running cameras come July, and we'll be looking for them quick. We'll be trying to get on them in October. I can promise you that. So,
well, sounds good, man. Keep me in the loop, dude. Like I said, I always like hearing good hunting stories, and hearing about just what it takes to kill those big deer and chase after them, man. So, like I said, man, thanks for coming on the podcast. I really enjoyed it. We're gonna do it again.
You got it, buddy. Thank you so much.
Sounds good, man. And thank y'all for listening to the podcast. And we'll catch y'all next week. Peace.